Welcome to the most must-see Huddle House episode yet. I know there's only been two, but this is the one that you guys need to watch. This is the Huddle House, your number one source for all Huddle Buddies news. I'm Matthew, and this is
I'm
Ty.
Ty.
And here in a minute, you are going to be getting the honorary 15th man of the Huddle House and of the Huddle Buddies League, the great one and only Sam Roberts, our substitute commissioner for when James is not around. And he is going to talk about our fantasy draft and what he felt about it. So I put this in the group chat earlier, guys, but just in case you didn't see it, the way we're doing this is I sent all 14 rosters to him, and also the draft order. So who everyone took in each round and everything like that, along with what our starting lineups will look like. But the thing is, I made the teams anonymous. So I just put team 1, team 2, team 3, and I also re-randomized that order so that he can't just know who it is based on draft order. So before we let him in here, he's in the waiting room. And before we let him in, team 1 is Jake Clark. Team 2 is going to be Jeremy. Team 3, Chris Traechner. Team 4, Lucas Weiland. Team 5 is you, Ty. You're going to be team 5. Team 6 is Jordan. Team 7 is Caleb. Team 8 is me. Team 9 is Marcus. Team 10, Brandon. Team 11, James Clark, our commissioner. Team 12, Austin. Team 13, Carter Ferguson. And Team 14 is Jacob Mitri. So what he's going to do is obviously he'll say who he has in each spot. And I reread it out, but I'll also point out who that was to him after he says it. We can talk about the teams, what we think about him, stuff like that. You ready to let him in, Ty?
Let's bring him in. Let's see the man.
All right.
Here he comes. Sammy.
Is he in?
Yeah,
He's coming. Hey, there he is.
there we are.
There's his beautiful face. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
How's it going, man?
Doing all right.
Thank you for joining us here this afternoon. We're looking forward to hearing your thoughts, Mr. Commish.
Absolutely. Let me get a light on real quick.
Yeah. No, the window glare is crazy right now. All right.
Yeah, let me close those.
This is the same room he was reading the draft order from for the lottery. His personal commissioner's office.
It is.
Oh, he's looking great.
All right, Sam, so
let's hear it.
I gave you a lot of homework, buddy.
You did.
You
did, and I made some lists.
I know, and I'm sure you have a lot to say, but I know I told you this the other day, but I'm going to reinforce that you can be as blunt and as brutal to our rosters as you particularly want, because I think all of the guys look forward to the constructive criticism that you might have.
Yeah, I've been having people call and text about what they think we can do.
Trying to get some favor out of you.
I want to biased rankings though. So, and I think
are we gonna
unbiased as we can get.
So are we starting with number 14, like the last place?
We should start at number 14. So Sam, we're gonna start with the list where we're talking about this year alone. Who do you think will pay for the engravement and also the shipping costs and be the biggest loser of this fantasy season?
Well, I put together a list here. Pull up my phone. We have the biggest loser of the year, I think.
I'm actually kind of worried.
The universe is hanging on these words. He's keeping us waiting in anticipation.
I think the team that I personally think is going to end up the weakest, as of right now. I'm sorry, my phone won't load here.
He is keeping us waiting.
Building the anticipation.
Yep, I really am. I think
Did it load?
This team is not going to be very good this year. The worst team is Team 12.
Team 12 is Austin Underhill.
All right.
I'm very sorry.
I will preface this by saying this I could be wrong this year. I don't think they're going to win this year. I could be wrong down the line since this is a legacy league.
Yes,
I
dynasty.
could be wrong in 2 or 3 seasons, and this roster could end up being something that wins down the line.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
there's
okay
a
because
lot-
we're just looking at it for this year. So
For this year, I think there are good players on this team. I think Calvin
like who?
Got some
I think
stuff.
Calvin Ridley is a great fantasy wide receiver. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a great year. Mark Andrews, he's a top 10 tight end in the league.
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe even.
I'd say top 8 probably.
Yeah.
I like Justin Herbert. I think he surprised a lot of people last year. I think he's going to have another big year. But there's a lot of guys I don't think you're going to get a lot of production out of most of your starters. First of all, I will say I absolutely vehemently think that picking Najee Harris in the first round is ridiculous. That is, in my opinion, ridiculous.
Okay.
Reason being?
Pittsburgh has the worst offensive line in the NFL. They might have one of the bottom 5 starting quarterbacks in the NFL this year. Their offense is going to be the worst in the league. And Najee Harris is not going to get anything out of it. He's going to get a lot of touches, but he's going to be averaging 2 yards a carry.
Well, you heard it here. There's number 14. 14. No love lost. No punches pulled.
Do you have a least favorite pick, or was it Najee?
My least favorite pick on this team was Najee Harris in the first round. I vehemently disagree with that. It is a 14-team league, so a lot of players go, but I think Chase Edmonds and A.J. Dillon are far too high.
Yeah. I can
that's just the
6th and 7th rounds of a 20-round.
The value.
The flex players in this league are pretty rough because of how deep of a league it is.
I do like
one
pick on this team, though. I think there is a steal here that happened in the 10th round. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, rookie for the Detroit Lions, is going to be productive right away on a really bad team.
Yeah, there's no one else to throw to. It's either him or T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, which is why he's a good pick. Because right now, on Detroit's depth chart, their number 1 wide receiver is Tyrell Williams, who was the 3rd receiver on the Oakland Raiders a couple years ago.
He's uninspiring. So it's probably going to be St. Brown.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think, is going to be Detroit's best wide receiver this season. So I think you can actually get production out of him.
If you had to, we're going to move on, but if you had to just off the top of your head give this team for right now a draft grade, what would you say? Right
now, just looking at it objectively, I think this is a D+ draft.
A D+ draft. Okay. All right, Austin.
Tough. I got here 13.
Sorry, but this is anonymous. You heard it from this great Sam.
That's my week 1 opponent too. Sam just jinxed the ever living heck out of me right there by saying all that.
All right, Sam. Who's gonna be number 13?
Number 13. I think the team that is going to be 13th. And obviously, this doesn't regard for injuries because it's football. Injuries can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, someone who I think had a great draft, like all their guys might tear their ACLs in the first 4 weeks. So that's fantasy football.
Yeah.
And I will say I don't think there's a lot of weak. I think overall they have some. Everyone has had something good happen in this draft.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think there's any teams that are just bad.
Still
number 13.
I think number 13 is going to be. It's going to wind up being team. It'll wind up being team 10.
Team 10 is Brandon.
I love Josh Allen. I really do. But picking quarterback in the first round in fantasy, no.
That's a popular take, I think, after the
No.
draft.
You
Unless it's
get
Patrick Mahomes. Do you forgive Patrick Mahomes being taken in the first round?
no quarterbacks in the first round.
Okay.
It's like drafting a running back in the first round of the actual NFL draft. Don't do it.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you like about Brandon's team? What do you not like?
Well, Josh Allen is fine. Take him in the first round. No. I think this is a team that has a lot of potential in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, CD Lamb is going to be is going to, especially with Dak hopefully back and healthy, is going to be good. This is the worst running back duo I've seen in this not ever, but in this league. Devin Singletary and Tevin Coleman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his two running backs he took highest are
J.K. Dobbins and Travis Etienne.
Yeah, they're injured.
Who both had season-ending knee injuries.
Sam, what did you think about the swing where he gets Higgins and Jamar Chase? He really buys into the Bengals wide receivers, taking both of them, both the outside guys. What did you think of that move?
Higgins is a great pick where he got him. I think Higgins is going to be good. Jamar Chase, I'm not a fan right now. I'm really not.
Well, no one really is because of the drops, but just, generally speaking, he's not going to drop every pass this season.
He has enough talent to be good.
He still has a lot of promise, Sam. I know it is early, and I know he's looked horrible, but I mean, we'll be patient.
Play on Sunday in an actual football game and see how he does.
He's worth the risk. I mean,
he is. I think he is, but third round for a rookie wide receiver who had a preseason where he was relentlessly mocked by everyone for having 4 drops on 5 targets. I think it's too high for him.
Yeah, there were probably some more established guys on the board, but I think he's a very young team. This team is the youngest teams in the league.
It is the youngest team in the league by my estimation. I do like Noah Fant on this team. I'm a big fan of Noah Fant, and I'm trying to be on. I'm a bit biased there because I have Noah Fant in my paid fantasy league as my tight end, but I like him a lot, and I buy into him. He had a great year in Denver last year with a subpar quarterback. You bring in Teddy Bridgewater, he's okay. He's a game manager.
He's good for 10, 15-yard passes, which typically
and that's what tight ends are good for in the NFL. Obviously, traditionally.
Yeah. Let's move
Sammy,
on.
Let's keep this thing moving. Give me just rapid fire, a few things you like, dislike about each team, and then if we have a comment, we can give it. Let's keep trying to work our way through. So 12.
Sure. So numero 12, I have, and this is, I have numero, I have team 2.
That's Jeremy McCleary. Jeremy.
I love these wide receivers here, but you have, again, in fantasy, the most valuable position is running backs. And Miles Sanders can't stay on the field for more than 10 games a season. And Michael Carter is a rookie who is going to be fighting for snaps.
That is a fair assessment.
That could just be an absolute drag on this team. The wide receivers are great. Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown, wonderful. That's going to be the bulk of the points.
Smith pick.
But so I think that Michael Carter is kind of the drag here. I don't know what he's going to do. He could be good, but as of right now, he's not a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Definitely had to sacrifice a little bit at running back. All right, who's your 11th spot? Ty, feel free to butt in if you have anything.
No, that's perfect. I think I heard enough. On Jeremy's. Yeah.
All right, number 11.
My 11th spot is Team 1.
That would be Jake Clark.
No, that's
Hey.
fun.
Hey, Jake bumped up
Matthew's smiling a little bigger now. He's not going to finish below Jake.
I'm actually stay pretty steady here.
Again, this team could actually end up being good, but there's a lot of risks involved here. This is the worst defense, I think, of all the teams in the league, Arizona.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. There's a lot of holes.
Javonte Williams as a third-round pick. Again, rookie. He's not a starter right now.
He did try to supplant that by getting some one-year rentals with Gus Edwards and Mike Davis.
To be fair, Gus Edwards, since Dobbins got hurt, Edwards is going to start running back in Baltimore.
Yeah, and Mike Davis still have a pretty.
Mike Davis, he has potential. He does things. I like Kareem Hunt. I really like Austin Eckler. I like the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's the quarterback. He's good, but he's not the big fantasy quarterback you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kicker, Graham Gano. No.
Losing points for a kicker. It's tough out here.
Yeah. Hey, kickers are there have been several fantasy games that I've been in my now 15 seasons of doing fantasy football where I've lost games on a couple points because of kickers.
Oh, it actually does happen. I mean, I think a couple of years ago, Will Lutz, I had him, and he averaged me like double digits, like 12 or 13 a game for like half a season. And I was like, dude, my kicker's my third leading scorer. Like, that's pretty bad, but I'll take it.
I've lost fantasy games a long time ago. There was a Bengals kicker named Mike Nugent. Ty remembers him.
Mm-hmm.
Cost me a game, a big game.
All right, Sammy, we're getting into the top 10. These are teams that are all
top 10.
Probably going to be moderately decent or good on either or.
So we have the teams of moderate decency.
Okay.
Beginning with
a new tier.
And this begins with a team that I actually wanted to like a lot, but at the end of the day, just I don't know. There's something about it that tells me it's wrong. That's Team 13.
Team 13 is your best friend from Ferguson.
Several great picks to start off. But some of these guys are just really boom or bust. Ezekiel Elliott. He was awful last year.
He had a bad year. Banged up O-line in his defense, but still, bad year.
He led the league in fumbles lost.
Yeah, he definitely has to get better.
He lost 5 fumbles, which was most in the NFL. Devontae Adams, great pick. Again, I don't know about with a new team in Jacksonville, is James Robinson still going to be a top-tier running back still? He had one great year. So did Jeremy Hill. So did Chris Johnson. So did Mike Anderson. So did Reuben Drones.
Yeah.
Guys who were 1,000-yard rushers as rookies and have been out and were gone within 5 years.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Ty, anything else you want him to add about Carter's team? We're having to sort of move along because we have 45 minutes on Zoom, and plus, we have pretty busy evenings. So we're trying to.
No, that was good, Sam. I like that.
But also be swift.
Number 9.
Numero 9. And Team 9 the 9th team.
Wait, Team 9 is number 9?
Or no, sorry. No, yeah. The 9th best team.
Yeah.
I should say. I'm going to go with Team 5.
Team 5, Ty. That's you,
me.
Man. That's Ty.
That's me.
Now, you did some very good things here. But
I'm more interested in hearing what I didn't do well.
Yeah.
Your wide receivers suck.
What?
I'm sorry. Deontay
That's like
Johnson,
my favorite part of my team.
And Corey Davis aren't
what?
running backs are good. Defense,
I felt the exact opposite about my team, Sam. That's interesting.
It could be, but I think this team is too reliant on two players. And that's
Those being
Travis Kelce.
too reliant. I saw it as more of a. I took a lot of receivers that I think are going to get a lot of targets and are going to take a step into the next tier of fantasy wide receiver, as opposed to taking maybe.
I think your best wide receiver is Curtis Samuel, personally, but
really, wow,
yeah,
that might be the one I'm least excited about, actually.
I think he's the best receiver you have on your roster.
I think Deontay is pretty steady, but there is the questions about his future because Big Ben's obviously going to be out here pretty soon. I think that's
and Ben's going to have a bad year. Deontay Johnson, he led the NFL in drops last year,
but he also got so many targets that he made up for it.
Yeah, you get that many targets. All right, I'm number 5. I'm number 9.
But you could be higher. You're 9, but I also felt bad about putting you there.
I will say, Sam did tell me the other day on the phone that most of these teams are pretty even. So, it's probably a fairly slim margin.
Hey, I'm not. We don't take it personal. It's all good. It's all good.
All right,
number 8
is Team 4.
Team 4 is number 8. That's Lucas. Whoa, this would be Lucas's worst finish in a while if this comes true.
There's some
Island, number 8.
Stephon Diggs and Allen Robinson are locks to have good seasons, pretty much. Outside of Washington's defense, I don't think there's any sure things on this team.
How do you feel about Saquon coming back?
I don't know. I don't know how he's going to be coming off surgery on his knee. I don't know how. He could be great. He could be bad. It's a risk coming with a guy that bad, or coming off that bad of an injury, rather. But we'll see. Pat Freiermuth is the starting tight end. Just, ugh.
I think Sam just doesn't like any Steelers players.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the Steelers.
No, I mean,
which I get.
Starting tight end, Eric Ebron is. He's the second tight end on the worst offense in the NFL.
Thinking he's going to have to start Zach Ertz for a while, which is another backup tight end. So
yeah,
that's definitely a position that has a hole. But
and then the second back, Darrell Henderson or Cam Akers, give or take.
The Cam Akers pick is going to be good for his future for sure.
It could be. It could be. I think Cam Akers is all right long term, but I don't know. We'll see, though. We'll see.
All right. So now we're getting into number 7.
So now we're going
into the playoffs.
We're going into
this is the first team out.
First runner-up, yeah.
First team out.
First loser. Number 7.
So now this is the first team.
It has
to be Marcus.
Stick with history.
All right, now I think the first team out is Team 14.
That's Jacob Mitri.
Jacob
Mitri. This is the one team you did know, Sam, right? Mitri.
Yeah, I saw Mitri at the UK game, and he showed me his roster.
Yeah. So if there was any bias with any of these, it'd probably be that. But if anything, it would help Mitri because Sam likes Mitri. So I mean, I'm thinking this is probably his legitimate thoughts about Jacob.
Now again, everything from here on out is pretty close to even. It's just it's just the narrowest margin. So if it comes back and it's different, I won't feel too bad. I will. Nick Chubb, fantastic. I think after how much of a letdown he had last year, Josh Jacobs in the second round is a little bit of a reach for me.
Yeah, that was a common opinion. It wasn't just you that thinks that, Sam.
A little bit of a reach,
but
I hate to say it, I think he's a bit biased by his loyalty to the Raiders franchise as a fan to make that.
Yeah.
I understand it, but I also understand his reasoning. Like he made some sense, but I mean,
Josh Jacobs could have a good year. He's perfectly capable.
Great running back, but it's just
he's a good player, but he doesn't. He was such a letdown last year. I don't think Gruden's a great coach. So
I think it might come down to this, Sam. Well, I know it didn't, but common consensus would say Joe Mixon over Josh Jacobs there. What would you have said if it was Mixon instead?
I would
Mixon was available.
I think Mixon's more factored in and is more. I think and I don't think Zach Taylor's a great coach by any means, but I think Taylor has more respect for his running backs than Gruden does. Gruden just wants to throw the ball.
All right, that's fair.
So
All right, we need to keep moving forward. Time
more
is
usage.
So, Team 6. These are the playoffs.
Playoffs.
I am in the playoffs if this all comes true. This is a step in the right direction.
So now the playoff team. First playoff team's Team 11.
That would be James Clark in number 6 spot. A team with the number 1 pick, Christian McCaffrey, on it.
Yeah, I kind of figured it was him, but guys who I think these are I think Kirk Cousins is going to be good. McCaffrey is going to be as long as he's healthy, great. Terry McLaurin, great. Robbie Anderson, great. Darren Waller, fantastic. I think the fact that Darren Waller wasn't picked until the 3rd round of this draft is interesting because he went pretty high in some drafts I was in.
He went a couple picks before me, Sam. I would have taken him.
I think Darren Waller.
I didn't take
Travis Kelce. Kelce wasn't taken until the end of the 2nd round, so I mean, it's not like it was a long slide. People just weren't taking tight ends.
I think Darren Waller is the 2nd best fantasy tight end this season, behind Kelce.
Yeah.
So Clark is permitted to move forward into the playoff picture.
Fair
Checking
enough.
in.
Wait, what?
So checking in with the next pick.
Yeah, Team 5.
Number 5.
Or yeah.
With number 5
5th spot.
is Team 8.
That would be me.
There's Barnesy.
Finally get to me. All right, I'm in the playoffs. I'll take that.
I love your running backs. I love your tight end.
I do too.
I love your defense.
I do too. I put a lot of stock in the Rams. I took them in the 13th round.
Now, Devontae Smith and Laviska Shenault, a little bit of a risk.
Oh, huge risk. 100%.
I think Devontae Smith is going to be really, really good right away for Philadelphia. He's going to be there. He's going to be the guy right away.
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman, I like that pick. That's a value pick. I like it.
The 9th round. It was worth the flyer. What do you think
he's
about my Michael Thomas pick, Sam? Because that's been a controversial one.
I think that's fine personally. I don't have an issue with him going in the 6th round. I think when he's ready to play, he'll come back and we'll be fine.
Yeah, there's definitely potential there despite –
There's potential there. I think we know what he can do when he's healthy and is in the right mindset. But I think
all right, I will take it. I'm in the playoffs.
You are a playoff team.
I was the one holding my breath when he was announcing pick 14. I just didn't want to be last. I'll take playoffs. All right.
Top 4. This is the semifinals.
We are in the top 4. And we are going to start with Team 3.
That's Chris Traitner. Chris Traitner finally having the year he's been craving for since joining the Huddle Buddies. He definitely drafted a very win-now type team. I will say that.
Yes, and I think that's why he's a 3.
Yeah.
He had a good draft for a team that's going to win now. The best pick he made is Kyle Pitts, in my opinion.
Good.
Wow,
good
you've done all this talk about things being risky and not liking them, but you're okay with that pick? That seems like just as big a risk as anything.
Yeah, but I am convinced it's a risk that will pay off. I like if I think your risk will pay off, I'll give you credit for it. It's a risk, but I think I am certain it's a risk that will be a money pick.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that.
I think Kyle Pitts is going to be good. Maybe, who knows, year one, I can't say. But for the future, I think the guy's going to be a lock to be a stud.
Going forward, I think eventually down the line, he's going to be the best tight end in the NFL at some point.
When Travis Kelce retires and Waller.
Once Kelce retires, I think he's going to within a few seasons, he'll pass Waller and Kittle.
I think that's very fair. All right, we're in the final.
Let me hear number 3.
Good season.
So we have this third. We have our team. Oh, we've been upgraded by the host. Wonderful.
I know we got our.
I know who the final 3 are. I don't know where they're going to be at.
I don't either.
Throw in number 3. Give me team 6. That
would be Jordan, new addition to the league.
Yeah, a new addition to the league. Rumor has it he is wanted in Georgia for starting fights at Waffle Houses.
Hey, he has a Steelers player though, Sam. So how can you like his team?
Because this is the best. This is the best running back duo in the fantasy league.
Yeah, I would say so.
Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones.
I would say so for sure. Those guys are both. Aaron Jones fell in his lap. He had pick 5, and Aaron Jones went to the back of the second round. Jacob Mitri took Josh Jacobs over him, and everyone was like freaking out.
Yeah, in my family league, which is an 11-team league, Aaron Jones was a first-round pick.
I mean, it makes sense in redraft dynasty. You think a little differently, but yeah.
Then again, Kyler Murray's just a points getter.
What'd you think about him doubling up? He went Kyler, and then he also went Trevor Lawrence a few rounds later. What'd you think about that move?
I think it's all right. I don't like where he got him, but I mean, if you're concerned about someone like Kyler getting hurt, which is a possibility for guys that play the way he does, then Lawrence will be okay. If worse comes to worse, it's a bit too safe for my opinion, but he makes up for it. He gets Jarvis Landry and Devontae Parker late, and I love both those players.
Well, let's hear the top 2. I'm itching to hear who's number 2. Should we have him announce who's number 1 or who's number 2?
Let's do 2 first. Let's keep going in order.
Okay.
Number 2 is Team 7.
That would be Caleb Weiland. I am
Mahomes.
interested to hear your thoughts about this, Sam. I am very interested.
Just guys who are just going to get points.
Mahomes, you hate going quarterback in the first round.
You did say that earlier. You said no
quarterback. I do not like that pick, but he makes up for it here. He gets Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in rounds 3 and 4. I don't know how that happened.
I mean, to be fair though, earlier you said Tom Brady's not going to get that many fantasy points this year. And those are both his wide receivers.
He's not. I think it's going to be just limited to those 2. I think Tom Brady's. I don't think he's the best fantasy quarterback, but he's not the worst.
I mean, Tom Brady was my quarterback last year. He did pretty good, and Mike Evans and Godwin were both pretty fantasy viable.
Yeah, because those are just good. Like he's gonna look at those guys, and they're gonna be good. I think those are.
What about Edwards-Helaire so early in the second?
Interesting. We'll see if it pays off.
The 5th pick of the second round.
I mean, he's a guy people understandably like. I think these risks. There's risks involved with this, but I think they'll pay off here.
I think my favorite pick by Caleb was probably Tyler Lockett, where he got him.
Yeah, I agree completely. Tyler Lockett and Brandon Cooks.
He's a heck of a flex play.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Lockett's a wonderful player.
All right, and so
that only leaves 1.
I know who the winner is, according to Sam, and he's going to be jumping over the moon to hear this.
Here, Matt, you haven't said a lot. Why don't you go ahead and announce it for me?
Sam Roberts is winner of the Huddle Buddies League is Team 9, which is Marcus.
That is correct.
Marcus McCleary gets the fantasy championship this year sent to his house. You heard it here first. And so I want to hear why now, Sam. He has Lamar Jackson. That's why. Best quarterback in football.
Now, this is controversial, and this will be controversial because looking at this roster, you're not going to think right away championship team. But I know better. Lamar
Why is
Jackson, tons of points. Justin Jefferson, incredible. Antonio Gibson is going to be, in my opinion, a top 5 fantasy running back this season.
Marcus is going to be loving to hear these words. He's been on the Gibson train for months now.
Antonio Gibson.
Gibson's good. Understand?
And in my opinion, he has this. His defense will get him a lot of points. San Francisco.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson and DJ Chark. I love Chark, especially now that Trevor Lawrence is there. Chris Carson is a stable player. Cortland Sutton, I think he's going to be he's going to look a lot better with Teddy. And Tyler Boyd, I think now that Boyd can actually play the spot or the slot, his natural position, I think he's going to have a very, very good year. So through no amount of or no shortage of controversy, I think that Team 9 is going to end up being very, very good. And they, in my opinion, are who I'm looking at as the horse I'm backing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. Let's give a complete rundown here, just one more time and a recap. So at 14, these are Sam's rankings. He had Austin, 13 Brandon, 12 Jeremy, 11 Jake, 10 Carter, 9 myself, 8 Lucas, 7 Mitri, 6 James, 5 Matt, 4 Trakener, 3 Jordan, 2 Caleb, and at the top, Marcus. And that's your 1 through 14 Sam Roberts preseason power rankings, post-draft power rankings.
So here's the thing. So I had him make 2 rankings, but because of how long that took and also just like the amount of thoughts that I think he still probably could share, I think we should push the future rankings to maybe another Huddle Buddies or Huddle House episode maybe in the future, because how much time do we have?
That might be a good mid-season thing, or even a little bit into the season once we've seen what some of these Javonte Williams or Michael Carters look like a little bit in their career. I think we could speak to it better, like what they might be in store for.
Start to see a little bit about what
I think
like.
all we
could shift.
All we needed was a little fuel on the fire prior to the season starting. And I know that I've got mine right here. This is getting taped up above my bed, so I'll see it every night when I go to sleep in the morning when I wake up. Number 9, a constant reminder to me of where Sam put me. I don't know if I had it backwards or not, but
Sam, I appreciate your confidence for me at least getting on the playoffs. I mean, obviously I want to finish first, but I'll take this as a vote of confidence. It's better than I normally feel.
Yeah, you should. And at the end of the day, all these rankings could come back and bite me, and I could be completely wrong, but who cares? It's fantasy football. I'm not too worried about it.
At least I know Sam has confidence in me.
I have confidence. Maybe Marcus will end up sucking this season. I don't know.
It'll be fun to come back and revisit these. We'll have to readdress these. Maybe another mid-season episode idea, like where everybody is according to what he said preseason.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It'll be all over the place.
Oh yeah. I never know how it all goes out.
I intentionally threw a little controversy in here, so.
All right.
I pushed more just to show how confident I was.
I think Sam was actually nicer than I expected him to be, though, George.
Yeah, there wasn't too much venom. I wanted other than for
the mid-season one.
Other than for Austin at the very beginning, honestly, I think that dude got it the worst.
Sorry, Austin. I mean, now you have some bulletin board material though to prove Sam wrong. But
if anyone wants to prove me wrong, I'll welcome it.
Austin did put in the group chat this morning that he. Let me see if I can find this. He said. Where's that? Oh yeah, nothing would make me happier than for Sam to roast my team into the floor and crush any hope I have of ever winning the trophy. So, I think
So
you
you
got
fulfilled a wish. Yeah, you
Yeah.
fulfilled a wish there.
you granted a wish. I mean, he asked for it, so I mean, you delivered, Sam.
Well,
Fair
Sam,
enough.
we appreciate the content and thank you for joining us. We will have you back on many times, I'm sure, throughout the regular season. And that was a fun kickoff to get these rankings going. But it's almost
We'll
here,
keep
fellas. Thursday.
on how the season's going for sure too. I mean, he's never gonna not know what's going on. He'll be
Yeah,
in the,
I'll keep watching.
I know
Could
that
also be fun to do trade reviews with Sam once a trade happens to have him give his thoughts on it.
yeah, that would be fun. I know Sam's definitely a part of the league, even if it's not as a player, he has his role in the league, and that is to pretty much be the expert that weighs in on all of our stupid decisions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
so,
know that this will be taken well by the guys. I expect to get several phone calls accusing me of bias towards Marcus or
I
rank stupidity.
tried to be as unbiased as I could with my.
But who cares? I think these.
Did you really have any clue that was Marcus at number
No,
one?
I didn't.
See, I don't think you did either.
I didn't. I just took a big gamble because originally I had that team third, but I decided I was going to shake it up by saying they're one.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what I do. That's what I did on the bullpen for years.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes another episode of the Huddle House. I know the guys will be itching to hear this. Some of them will probably be upset. Some of them will probably be thrilled. But that's the whole point of the show. That's the whole point of the league. There will be winners. There will be losers. But either way, we're all gonna make it our best shot to be the winners at the end of the day. So
yeah. And if anyone out there who listens wants to prove me wrong, go ahead. I'll give you your credit. If you want to, if you think I'm stupid and that your team's great and it's going to win, do something about it.
Tweet at Huddle Buddies Nightly, or what's our Twitter account?
At Huddle Roberts.
At Huddle Roberts. Okay, yeah. Follow at Huddle Roberts. Direct
your correspondent for Huddle Buddies Nightly, keeping up with the sordid personal lives of the degenerates that inhabit this league.
Direct all your complaints to at Huddle Roberts. That's where.
Yep.
That's our inbox.
Hey, and we know how Sam typically responds to people that come at him on Twitter. It might not be a good idea to hate tweet at Sam.
At your own risk.
You might get in.
Oh, no, at this point, I'm just going to tweet, prove me wrong.
All right. Well, you heard all your updated fantasy news, fantasy reactions, fantasy opinions will come on the Huddle House. Well,
They will indeed. And I'll be back in case anyone has any problems.
All right, Sam. Well, we appreciate it.
All right.
All right, boys. Take it easy.